හෙලෝ ඇහෙනවනේ එක්කෝ එකක් එනවද නෑ ඕකේ එහෙනම් කමන්නේ හරි හරි මම ඉන්ට්‍රොඩියුස් කරන විදිහ හදාගත්තේ නෑ ඉන්ට්‍රොඩියුස් සවුන්ඩ් එක ඇහෙනවනේ. බලන්න සවුන්ඩ් එකද කියලා. ඇහෙනවනේ සවුන්ඩ් එක. ඕකේ. දැන් කට්ටිය ලොග් වෙලා කට්ටිය මම මේකෙම කියන්නද නිකන් ඔෆ් කරලා කියන්නේ. කට්ටිය ලොග් වෙලා මේ දැන් මුලින්ම පේන්නේ මේකනේ ලොග් වෙන හැමෝටම day 1 1st of June නේ ලොග් වුණ හැටියේ මම චෙයාපර්සන් අඳුන්ලා දෙනකොටම ඔයා දෙවෙනි එකට යන්න. ඒතර පැරලල් සෙෂන් එක මොකද්ද කියලා එනවනේ. ඊට පස්සේ මෙයා පළවෙනි කෙනාව වීඩියෝ එක ප්ලේ කරන්න කියනවනේ. එයාගේ කතාව ඉවර වෙලා. එයා ඒ වෙනකන් අහගෙන ඉන්න. පළවෙනි වීඩියෝ ප්ලේ කරන්න කියද්දි වීඩියෝ එක ප්ලේ කරන්න. ප්ලේ කරලා ඊට පස්සේ ඒක ඉවර වුණාට පස්සේ ක්වෙස්චන් ඇන්ඩ් ආන්සර් යනකොට ඕන ෂෙඩියුල් එක ඕනනම් දාන්න පුළුවන්. නැත්තම් කොහොමද හොඳ? පැරලල් සෙෂන් කියලා දාලා ඕනනම් අරයා ඉන්ට්‍රොඩියුස් කරද්දි ඔයාලට පුළුවන් අනිත් එකටත් යන්නනේ. මේක තමයි ප්ලෑන් එක. එහෙම කරා නම් හොඳයි නේ. පැරලල් සෙෂන් මෙහෙම කියලා දාලා. ඔව් එයා පොඩ්ඩක් කතාව කියද්දි මේක තමයි වෙන්නේ කියලා අරක දාන්න. එහෙම හොඳයි. එතකොට ඒකනේ ඩිස්ප්ලේ. ඔව් එතකොට ඒක දදා ඉන්නවා. ඒක එතකොට වෙනවනේ වීඩියෝ එක අයින් වෙනකොට. ඒක තියෙනවනේ. රයිට් රයිට්. නෑ නෑ එන්නේ. මේකෙන් ඇහෙන්නේ. Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Today, we are pleased to welcome Dr. K. Radhika M. De Silva, who is the chairperson of the parallel session 3 of the AAOU2021 online conference. Dr. Radhika is a senior lecturer and head of the Department of Language Studies, Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences. Let me hand over this session. Over to you, Dr. Radhika. Let me hand over this session. Ladies and gentlemen, pleased to welcome Dr. K. Silva. Dr. Radhika M. De Silva, who is the chairperson of the parallel session 3 of the AAOU2021 online conference. Dr. Radhika is a senior lecturer and head of the Department of Language Department is Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences. Let me handle this is under the chairperson of the
Technology led to the digitization of information, followed by digital convergence and the World Wide Web. It's the convergence of media, economic, and political spaces facilitating the global trade and commerce. Further, it paved the way for social media platforms. These social media platforms created more interactive communities on the internet and provided a powerful media tool in the hands of unskilled members of the public. Because of its user friendliness and free access, made these social media platforms an attractive playground for the ODL community. With this backdrop, I look at the political economy of social media
සවුන්ඩ්
platforms
එක එනවා.
and explore
මේක
its
එන්නේ නැහැ
potential
විදිහට
to
තමයි තියෙන්නේ.
serve
සවුන්ඩ්
as
එක
a
එනවා.
tool of teaching and learning
ගෑවිලා තියෙන
in
මේක.
open and distance learning environment. My work is a theoretical analysis of such. The developments of computer technology led to the and the World Wide Web. It's the convergence of media, economic, and political spaces facilitating the global trade and commerce. Further, it paved the way for social media platforms. These social media platforms created more interactive communities on the internet and provided a powerful media tool in the hands of unskilled members of the public. Because of its user friendliness and free access, made these social media platforms an attractive playground for the ODL community. With this backdrop, I look at the political economy of social media platforms and explore its potential to serve as a tool of teaching and learning in an open and distance learning environment.
ඔය පහනේ ඔයාලා උතන තියෙනවා 100 විසිහතර නැද්ද උතන? එතකොට අර 128ට මම ඩවුන්ලෝඩ් කරගන්න කිව්වේ. තියෙනවද ආයේ? 197. ඒක මං ගාව නැහැ. මම මේකේ කොපි කරාට ඒක යන්
Today, I'm going to present on my research, learner engagement and motivation in continuing education through open distance learning, a case study of Hanoi Open University. I will start by telling you a bit about the continuing education or
Welcome you all. I'm Anushka Bandara. There are two other members in our research team, Professor Prasad Setunga and Dr. Upali Mampitian. Our research topic, role of the regional education services towards the effective learner support services of ODL in Sri Lanka, stakeholder perspectives. Outline of the research presentation is as follows. And as we all know, open distance learning is one of the most effective educational methods that can be used to expand educational opportunities for the dynamic student communities. In open and distance learning, the teacher and the student are separated
It's the convergence of media, economic, and political spaces facilitating the global trade and commerce. Further, it paved the way for social media platforms. These social media platforms created more interactive communities on the internet and provided a powerful media tool in the hands of unskilled members of the public. Because of its user friendliness and free access, made these social media platforms
I'm Nguyễn Thị Vân Đông from Hanoi Open University, Vietnam. Today, I'm going to present on my research, learner through open distance learning.
In our research team, Professor Prasad Setunga and Dr. Palimampitiya. Our research topic
ඇවිල්ලා තියෙන්නේ Hello, Dr. Radhika. Just to check your sound is working or not. You are muted, Dr. Radhika. Yes.
Can you hear me?
Now okay, okay. Thank you,
Right.
Dr. Radhika.
Okay.
Okay.
So we will be starting sharp at 11 o'clock.
11 o'clock. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. How about the 220?
Received.
You received?
Yeah,
Right.
all the video. Yeah, now it's
Bây
okay.
giờ làm sao để lấy được cái này của chị sang bên
Right.
ấy
So
và chiếu
everything
lên?
is done. Right.
Chị gửi qua mail rồi đấy. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, thank you. I'm from Hanoi Open University.
Okay.
Yeah, can you help me to check the other room of session 1.2? Is it open?
So we here session we are in this session is parallel session 3.
Yeah,
Do you want to check?
we are session 3, but session 2, my friends waiting for the room open.
Okay, okay.
Excuse me.
Yes, we are forwarding our message. Okay, wait. Okay.
Mọi người à? It's okay. Thank you so much. Excuse me.
Yeah, parallel session 2 will be starting now.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Do I have to use my PowerPoint?
No need, no need. We are playing your
No need,
recording.
okay.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention please? Today, we are pleased to welcome Dr. K. Radhika M. De Silva, who is the chairperson of the parallel session 3 of the AAOU 2021 online conference. Dr. Radhika is a senior lecturer and head of the Department of Language Studies, Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences. Let me hand over this session to the chairperson. Over to you, Dr. Radhika. Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much for that introduction. I was the former head of the Department of Language Studies. Right. Good morning, dear presenters and all the participants. I warmly welcome you to the parallel session 1.3 of the 34th annual conference of AAOU, which is held in Colombo. Right. The theme of this session is, as you know, learner engagement and motivation in ODL, challenges and possibilities. So in this session, we have 5 presentations scheduled from 11 a.m. to 12:15 a.m. You can see the screen, I guess. And the first presentation, we have abstract 35, 24, 220, 122, and 87. So our first presenter is Dr. Dong Nguyen Thi Van from Hanoi Open University, Vietnam. And her topic is learner engagement and motivation in continuing education through ODL. This is a case study of the Hanoi Open University. Now I invite Dr. Thi Van to make her presentation. So this will be a pre-recorded presentation. We have it's a 10-minute presentation. We have 5 minutes for questions after the presentation. Please mute your microphones and turn off your videos. And presenters can turn on their videos for Q&A. Right, with that introduction, I would now invite Dr. Wang Don. You can watch the video now.
Hello, everyone. I'm Nguyễn Thị Vân Đông from Hanoi Open University, Vietnam. Today, I'm going to present on my research, learner engagement and motivation in continuing education through open distance learning, a case study of Hanoi Open University. I will start by telling you a bit about the continuing education, or CE, and open distance learning, or ODL, in Vietnam. As you may know, CE helps people to have a continuous lifelong learning in order to improve their personality, expand their knowledge, improve their educational and professional qualification, to improve their quality of life, to find job, even self-create job, and adapt to social life. Vietnam has a policy to develop CE to implement education for everyone and to build a learning society. CE through ODL in Vietnam now play an important role in building lifelong learning and lifelong learning society in the region. With the aim and 3 objectives of the study, as you see, we find the answer for the 3 research questions. 1. What are the existing practices of CE program through ODL taken by AAOU learners? 2. What are desirable practices of CE program for ODL courses? 3. What are the solutions to create learning engagement and motivation for learners to meet the needs in today's integration trend? CE development is a basic content in the roadmap for building a learning society. This is one of the core concepts that make up an educational triangle covering almost all the content, modes, methods, properties, ideas, and management of adult education. The triangle, as you see, is 1. The CE, 2. Continuous training, and lifelong learning. There are some definitions of engagement. However, in this study, learner engagement is defined in broad terms, as the time and physical energy that learners expend on activity in their academic experience. More specifically, engagement involves the learner effort to study a subject, to practice, to obtain feedback, to analyze, and to solve problems. Furthermore, in the present study, the term engagement is used interchangeably with the term interaction. According to Ryan and Daisy, 2000, to be motivated means to be moved to do something. A person who feels no impetus or inspiration to act is characterized as unmotivated. To reach the above-mentioned aim and objective, a three-part survey questionnaire with 22 questions raised under a created link, share, and sent to nearly 200 distant learners of HOU in 2019, and 121 feedbacks were received. The data analysis helps us to find solutions to create learning engagement and motivation for learners of CE through ODL to meet the needs in today's integration trend. Talking about the survey questionnaire, 3 parts with 22 questions. Part 1, the background information of the learners with 6 questions. Part 2, including 8 questions about the benefit from CE. And Part 3, the desirable practice on CE with 8 questions. And nearly 200 distant learners of HOE take part in this in 2019 with 121 feedbacks. The survey results show that both male and female learners from 25 up to 55 years old gave the feedback. Most learners are working in the state and private agencies, and only 4 out of 121 learners are business owners. Almost learners have a bachelor's degree, high school and upper high school degrees. Out of 121 learners, 2 learners are from overseas, that is China and Cambodia. The remaining 119 come from 33 cities and provinces of Vietnam. About the kind of education mode, you see, the most popular kind of education mode is a fully online, as shown on the slide. Learning through radio, television, printed material are other forms of education. The survey result on the satisfactory level towards the program shows that 52.9% of learners are satisfied at high level, and no one rated the program at a very low level. Relating to the benefits learners get from the program, the learners may choose more than one option. The result indicates that most options are for career development, and only one option is for being promoted. Question 1 and part 3 of the survey questionnaire on the desirable practice on continuing education is on the skills the university should provide. 84 out of 121 learners voted for working skill. Question 2 of part 3 is about the expected learning modes. The interviewees may choose more than one answer. As you see, most of turns voted for online learning. Being asked about the evaluation methods of the program, the majority of learners expect to take the multiple choice test after each lesson. To give feedback to the program, you see 98 out of 121 learners voted for feedback via email, and the smallest number of learners voted for feedback in written form. Through the above research result and argument, we offer a number of solutions for 3 stages before, during, and after the course to stimulate learners' motivation and engagement in CE courses through ODL. We would like to focus on the during course. These are the things administrator and lecturer need to do to inspire the motivate learners. There are many ways to stay in touch with learners. If an administrator or a lecturer is a fixed site with multiple modes of communication, use whichever learners prefer. Aim for frequent and regular contact each week, even daily, especially if a student is falling behind. To sum up, we not only want to see if similar patterns emerge such that professional development for instructors is perceived as effective in promoting student engagement and motivation, but also confirm that strategies employed by trained instructors are effective despite discipline or level of program. That, ladies and gentlemen, was what I wanted to share with you. Now you will all have a chance to see the close-up for yourself and give a comment and question via my email address. Thank you. Take care to get over COVID-19. See you again soon. Bye.
Right. Thank you very much, Dr. Wang Don. You can now switch on the video for questions. It's a very interesting and informative presentation. We learned a lot about how learner engagement and motivation is done in your university. Now it's question time. You can raise hands if you want to ask a question. Any questions? Right, there's a question, right, in the chat box. Can you expound more about the use of Facebook page for your classes? This question is from Sesmaira Mabalo.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, okay. Thank you very much for the questions. As you know that I talk about Facebook, and Facebook is very useful in connecting with my students, especially when they are the distant learners. They are even the overseas students from China, from Cambodia, and it's very special that we are in the COVID time. So Facebook helped me a lot in connecting with my students. All of the problem we have during the course, we may contact with the student by a group on Messenger, on Facebook, where I can share with them many of my videos, of my audios, and many exercises. And we chat with them every day, whenever they need the answer from me, anytime. And of course, anywhere I can use my phone to work with them. So I think that Facebook is very useful. And besides Facebook, we have a Zalo. It's a good channel for connecting with Zalo group. So it's convenient if we have some small group who live next to each other or near each other can group into one group, and then they share the exercise, the practice, and then they raise the questions, and I will answer, I will reply all the questions when I have a time or when I have my good answer for them. That's why I choose Zalo, Facebook for my practice. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions?
Thank you very much for your question, Mira.
Yeah, it's a very interesting presentation and it's really timely and useful as well. We don't have more time for questions. I think it's 11:15 now. Okay, thank you very much, Van Don, Dr. Van Don.
Yes.
Right?
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Right. We will now move on to the next presentation. Next presentation is by Mr. Samira Tilakawatana from the Open University of Sri Lanka. That is abstract number 24. His topic is Data Monopoly and Social Media Pedagogy, Curious Case of Data Capitalism and Platform Fetishism in Lifelong Learning. Yes, you can now watch the presentation.
The developments of computer technology led to the digitization of information, followed by digital convergence and the World Wide Web. It's the convergence of media, economic, and political spaces facilitating the global trade and commerce. Further, it paved the way for social media platforms. These social media platforms created more interactive communities on the internet and provided a powerful media tool in the hands of unskilled members of the public. Because of its user friendliness and free access, made these social media platforms an attractive playground for the ODL community. With this backdrop, I look at the political economy of social media platforms and explore its potential to serve as a tool of teaching and learning in an open and distance learning environment. My work is a theoretical analysis of such trends and developments associated with social media platforms. I use Marxian perspective on capital and labor to develop my argument. Further, articulations of thinkers in the light of Baudrillard, Jameson, Chomsky, Goffman, Hall, McLuhan, and Fuchs are looked at to explore the potential of the mainstream social media platforms in the light of Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and YouTube to create a productive teaching and learning environment to be utilized in open and distance education. Christian Fuchs looks at media as techno-social systems in which technological structures interact with media relations and human activities in complex ways. Van Dyck identifies social media as platforms that are user-centered and facilitate communal activities, hence as online facilitators or enhancers of human networks. The internet in general and social media in particular make digital realities a simulacrum, where an individual presents himself as a simulation, a digital other, creating a dual personality. This concept of synthetic identity parallels with Erwin Goffman's articulation of performed self. Goffman argues that there is no true self, no identifiable performer behind the role, but the roles just are the performer. This parallels with the Baudrillard's articulation of simulacra and simulation. The social media environment creates simulacra of individuals, communities, and cultures, mirroring the physical space, but different and feels better than the real. It can be argued that social media platforms and the internet are data driven. Google, Facebook, and social media in general collect, store, and process a continuously growing massive amounts of data that can be utilized by the platform for commercial purposes. In other words, social media platforms commodify the data obtained from their users that include private information and individual preferences. Such vast collections of data are known as big data. According to Fuchs, big data transformed Facebook and Google into world's largest advertising agencies. The value-based, limited access to data community creates a big data divide, resulting in a new form of data elitism. Therefore, big data has become the new form of hegemony, and it provides control over the global political economy. Jameson's cultural logic of late capitalism believes that the multinational and transnational business organizations expand the concept of monopoly beyond national borders. We experience its effect every day on the Web 2.0 platforms, including social media. From a McLuhanian perspective, culture that grows on the social media platform is created by the users themselves. Therefore, social media user plays a dual role as both consumer and producer, hence referred to as the prosumer. But on the other hand, Marx believed that the wealth of societies in which the capitalist mode of production prevails appears as an immense collection of commodities. The individual commodity appears as its elementary form. With regards to social media, data and information that the prosumers produce can be identified as its commodity form. Data commodity is produced by the prosumers with their free digital label generating data capital. Hence, we can term this new capitalist narrative as data capitalism. The feel better simulacrum of social media makes the prosumer spend more time on it and produce more data. In the process, get alienated from the real society and communal activity. Such digital environment, which propagate individuality and isolation, is prone to exploitation and manipulation. The free labor of the prosumer creates the capacity for these platforms to grow limitlessly, creating global monopolies like Google, Facebook, and YouTube. Subsequently, social media ownership has the power to nurture ecology and culture as well as attitudes and behaviors that ultimately benefits the growth of their monopolies. The platform algorithms customize and personalize user interfaces by analyzing user choices and interactions. The platforms favor and rewards the user choices that benefits consumerism and data capitalism. Hence, to have a better platform presence, the prosumers need to perform to satisfy the platform algorithms. Subsequently, human nature, in the light of choice, free will, and consent, become manufactured by social media platforms. Consequently, the addiction to perform self and corresponding false consciousness, where people desire to enhance the relationship with the social media platform, which subsequently leads to alienation, isolation, and platform fetishism. This ecology of mainstream social media platforms raised the question regarding its viability to perform as a teaching and learning environment. Algorithms operate on the mathematical equation and logics that are aimed at maximizing the growth of the platform community and connectivity. In other words, platform is not interested in a particular social system or culture. Its only interest is what makes people spend more time on the platform. Subsequently, people contribute their labor, time and energy more and more on social media for free, driven by the desire for the digital presence and performed self that looks and feels better than the real. My argument is that the capitalist agenda of mainstream social media and corresponding manipulations and exploitations hinders its potential to serve as a teaching and learning environment. The attributes and architecture of social media and the social media ecology does not support the free flow of information, open dialogue, and not even free thought and choice that I believe is necessary to operate as a teaching and learning platform. The counter argument would be if the people are literate, responsible, and make rational decisions and choices, the platform would be a more productive and enlightening space. Ironically, the same can be said about democracy, consumerism, liberalism, capitalism, and even socialism in their corresponding ideal conditions. But when we include the human factor to any of these systems, the historical evidence show that they get distorted beyond recognition and operate creating just the opposite what meant to be or how it should be. Social media as global monopolies can be experienced as informative entertainment that exploits digital labor. Subsequently, all it can teach and all we can learn is how to be a loyal consumer who desires for platform fetishism and willingly sacrifice both labor and identity for the benefit of the platform. Considering the case of data capitalism and platform fetishism, the potential of the mainstream social media platforms to create teaching and learning environments is highly doubtful and exceedingly questionable.
Thank you very much, Samira Tilakodana. It's a very informative and also very interesting and thought-provoking presentation. I hope you are there to answer questions.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes. Does anybody have questions? Yes, again, says Myra Mabalot has a question. What then do you propose is a good use of? Yeah, it's a good use of social media in teaching and learning.
Well, the point is there's no such thing as good use or bad use. Like theoretically, if you approach it in a productive way, it should produce a productive output. But the problem is, since it is driven by this data capital, it doesn't have the capacity or the will. The platform itself doesn't have the will to do so. So what I propose is have a sort of like, now if you take Facebook or Google or all other social media platforms, they are owned by companies. So the alternative will be an open source platform where academics can use for teaching and learning, like without any profit, something that doesn't based on profit generation or revenue generation, just purely for teaching and learning. Otherwise, if you have to depend on companies that provide services because they are profit oriented, I don't think there's hope.
There's another question. Is it policy to have social media? Is there a policy maybe to have social media free?
Come again?
Is there a policy to have social media free? The question is from Dr. Wang Dong.
I'm a bit confused about the question itself, but let me approach it in this way.
I think he's asking whether there is a policy in a country, maybe in a particular country,
okay,
to have social media free.
No. So the social media, what we have today, or what you experience, or what you have engaged in, are private companies, international companies. So the government policies will not help, as far as I can say. The government doesn't have the geographically oriented authorities, or the ruling systems do not have any power over international monopolies. Facebook is a monopoly. Mark Zuckerberg control everything. So especially we like smaller, peripheral, lesser, economically strong countries doesn't have much say on what Facebook want to do or how its policy should change. So it's like we have to go with the flow. That's why I propose it's better to avoid existing social media platforms and try to, like, as a community, as maybe as an AAOU, work out a platform for ourselves that we can use for teaching and learning instead of depending on monopolies that we have today.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank
These are
you.
interesting questions. Yes, I do have many questions to ask, but I think it's not the time to do it now. It's 11:30. We have to move on to the next presentation.
And also,
thank you very much, Samira.
yeah, one of the purpose of this paper is to like do a fully theoretical paper. Like many of us try to involve empirical data when you do research. So another purpose is to go beyond that or go away from that and move on to good old theoretical research.
Yes, it's a less research topic and it's a novel area of research. Thank you very much. There's another question appearing in the chat box, but I'm sorry, we do not have time now. We have to move on to the next presentation, right? You can write to Mr. Tirakawadana and I think get answers for these. Okay, let's move on to the next presentation then. Presentation number 3 in this session is number 220. That is exploring the digital literacy of students and its relationship with their academic performance. A case study from the Virtual University of Pakistan. The presenters are Hina Amin, Mohammed Abid Malik, and Sona Amin. Now we will see the presentation.
Good morning, a very good morning to all of you. The topic of my presentation is exploring the digital literacy of students and its relationship with their academic performance, a case of Virtual University of Pakistan. I am Hina Amin, a PhD scholar and instructor education at Virtual University of Pakistan, and my co-authors are Dr. Abid Malik and Ms. Sana Amin. Introduction. Education in this digital era is facing huge transformations and distributions, especially with the rapid development of science and technology, particularly as artificial intelligence and big data. Prosperity of any country rely on the innovative talent of creative workforce. Therefore, it has become imperative in this era to introduce young minds and university students with innovative and skill-based curriculum. Churchill and Chu defined digital literacy as umbrella framework to develop knowledge, skills, and ethics in digital. Eugene Payton said that although there is increasing research and attention is paid to digital literacy in recent times, still there is quite less evidence available about the level of digital literacy practices inside or outside of the classroom and its role in academic performance of students. Furthermore, even less information and guidance is available to teachers and students to integrate digital literacy with their own teaching and learning. So, now I am going to tell you the background of this study. The Virtual University of Pakistan is an online distance education institute which aims to provide quality education at students' doorstep. It is prerequisite for students to have knowledge about computer and its uses for smooth teaching learning process. However, it has been observed that despite being the students of online mode of education, a large number of students are not able to read, understand, interpret, or write information correctly for academic or non-academic activities. It is my personal experience as well as I am the instructor at Virtual University of Pakistan. So student even does not know how to understand the assignment. If we are going to upload the assignment, they don't understand what the question means. The main purpose of this research project is to explore the self-perceived digital literacy level of students enrolled in the Virtual University of Pakistan. So this was this study is based on a project which is won by me from audit department. Now, problem statement. Society is gradually becoming more saturated with technology and students are engaged with digital cultures in which it is essential to create and manipulate media content for cultural, social, political, economic and academic purposes. National education policy stated that extensive technological embedded educational opportunities must be provided to working men and women to enhance their productivity. Today, digital world has provided students with numerous opportunities to create, share, and develop themselves to be successfully employed in the digital world. Higher education plays an important role in developing advanced level of digital literacy, integrating technology with critical thinking and practice for producing professional. Objectives of my study. There are three objectives of my study which are as follows. First objective is to identify the digital literacy level of students enrolled in Virtual University of Pakistan, to explore the relationship between factors of digital literacy and student academic performance, and to compare the digital literacy level of students with respect to their demographics variables like gender, age, faculty enrollment, and access and frequency of internet usage. There are many research hypotheses now, and the limitation of the studies. The research project was limited to the students of Virtual University of Pakistan only, and the major hypothesis of my study is there is a strong and positive relationship exist between there is no positive and strong relationship exists between level of digital literacy and student academic. Now, significance of the study, as you see on the screen. It is important in this tech savvy work in this technological savvy workforce has changed the canvas of teaching learning in the classroom as well. So adopting digital literacy in and outside of the classrooms makes subject learning relevant to the community and society, and it also helps to meet the demands of future market needs. So this study will be beneficial for students, teachers, and practitioners to improve digital literacy for self and students as well. It will also help the university to identify areas in which the students need special attention, so that it may develop special short videos or guidance for them to enhance their digital literacy. By understanding the role of digital literacy and competencies for the future knowledge economy, findings of the study may contribute in policy making as. So uh, the this is the theoretical framework. Here you can see I am using the Chen framework. Chen has identified the 9 C's for the digital literacy, and these are mentioned as communication, collaboration, critical thinking, creativity, citizenship, character, curation, copyright, connectedness. And this is the independent variable, and the dependent variable will be the student's academic performance. So all these 9 factors are relevant to the activities and the skills they are performing in the online world. For example, copyright is the plagiarism policy. If they're taking the another students or resource from the internet or Google, the content, they must know how to check the plagiarism, how to cite or refer the particular work. So for example, another example I can quote here, the citizenship. It's about the ethics and the morality, and how students are behaving in the online world. Are they respecting their colleagues, their peers, or when they're interacting with each other, are they following the cyber laws, or are they aware of the cyber laws? So all these 9 C's are relevant to digital world. So research methodology. This study is based on the positive paradigm, and correlation method was used to find out the relationship between self-perceived digital literacy of students with the academic performance. Population and sample size. All the students enrolled in the fall 2020 was the population for this study. There was 79,155 students enrolled in fall 2020 semester at Virgin University Pakistan. And for the sample size, the Gies and Morgan's sample size determination was used to select sample size. The desired sample size for this population was 382 students. However, researchers administered the online survey for maximum response rate. Convenient sampling technique was used to collect the data due to COVID-19 situation. Now, total sample for the study which we received as 663 students. For the data collection, a self-developed survey based on 5-point Likert scale named as Digital Literacy Scale was used to measure the self-perceived digital literacy of students. For academic performance, CGPA of students who participated in the survey were sought from the administration. Reliability of the instrument was 0.882. So this is the reliability. Have also find out the effective-wise reliability of the DLS, and the effective-wise reliability is mentioned as communication 0.8, copyright 0.7, critical thinking 0.8, character 0.7, citizenship 0.8, curation 0.7, correctness 0.8, creativity 0.8, collaboration 0.8, and the total overall digital literacy of the scale was 0. Now, for the data collection, ethical consideration was met, and an online Google survey form was used, or student was assured that their data will be used only for ethical for research purposes. Now, data analysis descriptive, as you seen in this table, faculty wise distribution I have mentioned. There are 5 faculties total in Virtual University of Pakistan, and from education the percentage 27, management 17.3, CS and IT 40, science and technology 10, arts 6%, and total is 663. So otherwise I have also make a graph for the gender wise distribution of students among different faculty. So as you can see in this graph as well, that male student participated more as compared to female student from all the faculties except science and technology and arts, where female numbers are. Now this is the semester wise distribution of sample. So we can see here it is noted that majority of the respondents were belong to semester 1, which is 181, followed by semester 2, semester 3, semester 4, semester 5, semester 6, and semester 8. Least number of students belong to semester 7. This shows that students who are in first year of their university life contributed more as compared to other semesters, those who has substantial experience of digital literacy over 2 to 3 years. So for this data, the students who are in the first year of the digital literacy, who are in the first year of their university life, they contributed more. But the students who have already practicing and experiencing digital literacy because they are already using the online medium, they contribute less. So this can be the factor for our result variation for correlation. In the end I will discuss that. So I have also compared student semester wise enrollment of students by gender. So these are the enrollment of male and female. As you can see in the table, that male has contributed more and responded are more contributed and participated in the survey as compared to female. Here you can see the comparison of internet usage. You can say that 23% responses use internet more than 35 hours a week, followed by 18% who use 30 hours a week. Similarly, 16.7 and 15.7 use 20 hours a week. So majority of the students they have extensive use of internet in a week. And now you can see that here male male students are using more internet per week as compared to their female counterparts. Say computer operating skills, and this figure depicts that 38.5 respondents have good command over operating computers. These are their self-perceived digital literacy. So 38.5 students think that they have a good command over computer, while 30% claim that they have excellent skills to use computers, contrary to 16.7 who have moderate skills. When comparison was carried out between male and female students, male are more confident. That they said 40% said that they have strong command over operating computers than. Now when we compare the mean and standard deviation values for all 9 C factors, we can see very interesting results over here. For we can see that from all the factors, communication has the highest mean, which shows that students' communication skills are significantly contributing towards digital literacy of students. And communication includes writing formal emails, reading the online text, understanding the content of the material, and also it also include the conducting the meetings, attending the Skype sessions. So all these all these activities are included in the communication, which has the highest mean for the from all these 9 factors. After that, furthermore, citizenship, connectedness, copyright, curation, creativity, and critical thinking, they have average means. It means that student has basic information regarding these activities, and they're practicing these skills more or less, but they are not expert in these skills. And in the last, collaboration and character. Collaboration, which means your student do a collaborative work with their peers, and character, which shows that students have the student do not abuse, do not use bad language, slang words with other peers, have lowest mean, which depicts that students do not possess these skills and they have their low perceived digital literacy for these factors. Sparrow will test and for the normality of the student self-perceived digital literacy of students. P-value indicator is 0.002, which means that our data is not normal, and then we have to go for hypothesis one of the study is that there is no significant difference exist between the mean ranks of students data for digital literacy based on gender. So this null hypothesis got rejected. There is significant difference exists between self-perceived digital literacy based on gender. Hypothesis 2 is discussed about there is no significant difference exists between the mean ranks of student digital literacy by faculty enrollment. So data shows that we accept this hypothesis as there is no significant difference of student exists across the different faculties. We have 5 faculties. It means that across all faculties student has same level of digital literacy. Hypothesis 3, we see that by age group if there is a significant difference exist. क्रुस्कल विल्स टेस्ट जो है नॉन पैरामेट्रिक का वो इट वाज अप्लाइड. क्रुस्कल विल टेस्ट ऑफ फ्रॉम नॉन पैरामेट्रिक statistics was applied to see the difference by age groups, and it was noted that the participant who are age of 25 to 28 has the highest mean rank, which is 702.50, which means that this age group has the digital literacy among others. As the p-value also lies in the under the critical region, so we have to apply the Dunn's post hoc test. In the Dunn's post hoc test, we can see that a group from 16 to 20 years of students and 28 years of student has the major significant difference regarding their self-perceived digital literacy. Here you can see in this graph figure as well. The blue line shows that these two groups has the significant difference in their perceived digital literacy among. 4 discuss about the there is no significant difference exists between the mean ranks of student digital literacy with respect to their time period of using internet. So the table shows that those students who are using internet since 10 years have the highest mean rank, which is obvious, and now we'll see as the values fall under the critical region, so we apply the post hoc test revealed that there are 3 groups which lies in the critical region and shows the difference. Students who are using internet since 7 to 9 years, students who are using internet 10 years or above, or students who are using internet from 4 to 6 years, they have significant difference with those students who are using internet less than 1 year. So it is obvious, and it is also shows that with the passage of time with the internet of usage, students are more skilled and they have improved digital literacy. Now this is the last table, which is relationship between different factors of perceived digital literacy and with students academic performance. As our data is non-parametric, so Spearman-Rahu's correlation test was applied. All factors of digital literacy has strong relationship, and when the correlation was applied for the academic performance, only one factor, communication, has the significant value, which is 0.12. It is weak but significant. But for the character and the character and creativity, these two factors has the negative correlation. It means that student academic performance does inversely affect by these two factors. Creativity, like student does not student are not creative, and when they are focusing on the academics for their marks, for their CGPA, they are not being creative, and they don't possess these skills. So it explained that students' academic performance does not correlate with these two factors, creativity and character. Rest of the factor does not have any relationship with the academic performance. So it is interesting that from all the 9 factors, students have digital literacy. Student have short relationship with only one, that is communication, and I think it is very valid in this digital context. Like in the Virtual University of Pakistan, we are using LMS, and in the LMS they used to and we have a LMS, we have MDBs, and we have email format. So through these format they are communicating with us. So I think with this in this scenario, in this context, these findings are relevant, and more, I think, study needed to be done to explore further. So I have presented this material or this content from the project article. I am still working on it. With your valuable feedback, I will improve it, and I will see the other dimension and explore the different relations so much, and your valuable feedback will be highly appreciated.
Thank you very much for that presentation. It's about digital literacy, which is a timely topic. Now we welcome questions. There's time for one question.
I am here. If there's any question, I can answer. Hello, I am Hena Amin, paper ID 220.
Yes. Any questions? So as there aren't many questions, we will move on to the next presentation. Right. Thank you very much, Ms. Amin and the team. It's an interesting topic. Right. We'll move on to the next presentation. That is paper ID 122. That's by DGSK Doluvira and HMADK Herat. The topic is trainers' perceptions of open and distance learning for technical and vocational education and training in Sri Lanka. Now let's watch the presentation.
Herat, working as the Deputy Director in Treasury and Vocational Education Commission in Sri Lanka. Today I present my paper titled To Investigate the Trainer's Perception on Open Distance Learning, ODL, for Technical and Vocational Education and Training, TVET, in Sri Lanka. I worked with this paper Dr. Doluvira, who is the senior lecturer of the Open University of Sri Lanka. This is the content covered in this presentation. First, introduction, research gap, then discuss the objectives of research, then the methodology and analyze and findings, and finally give the recommendations to this open distance learning to TED sector. This is my brief introduction. Technical and vocational training is the major education system and it is directly affecting the labor market need. We called heart of the labor market is the TVET sector output because it is very important and especially economically as well as socially developing as well as developed countries, major affecting their economically aspects. So currently TVET or technical and vocational education training associate sufficient, not sufficient within Sri Lanka with this open distance learning to achieve the labor market needs. The TVET qualifications is major components are the skills, knowledge and attitudes. So that it is normally done the face-to-face method. And to consider the determinations and demands of the TVET, it is essential to move to the open distance learning systems. So it is give the flexible education opportunity to all TVET sector. So this is the research gap. The study mainly focuses of the trainer's perception on open distance learning for the TVET sector. Actually, in this research, basically think about the trainers and training staffs who are involved in public sector, which is represent the Department of Technical Education and Training, Ceylon German Training Institutes, National Apprenticeship and Industrial Training Authorities. Likewise, major public sector institutions, TVET sector institutions, trainers and training staff perceptions to find out what is the perceptions behind the open distance learning. So there is a many research gap is specifically there. There are lack of researchers are done with the open distance learning in Sri Lankan TVET sector. And actually in 2018, National Education Commission published the National Policy on Technical and Vocational Education, suggested and recommended knowledge components of training must be delivered through open distance learning method for their flexibility, as well as they have suggested to implement the NVQ system, National Vocational Qualification System, developed with this or implementation of open distance learning. So those are the objectives. To implement the e-learning as a tool is one of the main focuses in these studies, and to provide the students with the e-learning facilities to improve their computer-related skills, self-directing learning skills, followed by the face-to-face online support and mentoring by tutors and study also. Two focuses on the teacher's role in the e-learning as well as the accredited roles is promoted and facilitate the learning environment. So this is the methodology covered in this research. Actually, this survey is the mixed method, qualitative and quantitative method, both are used, and developed the questionnaire with the aspects of general information of trainers, reasons of selecting vocational mode of education, problem faced when training and learning of support habits and study skills learners have to develop, then the study circumstances. So developed questionnaire distributed and collected and then analyze those and give the recommendations by this research. So, as the result of that, the TVET sector institutions number of trainers is displayed in this table, as that this is the population which is covered in this research. DTT 2851, which is and NITA 199 likewise. Our grand total is 17,648. Number of lectures are represent, and this is covered in this public training sectors in technical and vocational education training. So IT literacy wise, distribution of responses is is shown in this table. You can see their certificate, or they have can manage, or they have degree level, diploma, or the postgraduate level. We analyze that result to see whether the IT literacy of trainers in TVET sector. Then mainly we are frequency analysis of the perception among TVET trainers regarding the open distance learning, and find out the open distance learning, their mission is there, or the good they have to vision to that the good to expansion, or they are they are thinking that is important, or what are their perception, or they think about the lacking of their implementing some things, or they especially they have distance learning method, how it is flexible, and their perception behind how to manage those with the pedagogical training, as well as the TVET program, how it is important, high open distance learning is suitable or not. Likewise, we gathered all perceptions behind the technical and vocational education training, TVET sector, institutions, trainers' perception. After that, this research, we give some recommendations. Those are the recommendations recommended in this research. Actually, according to the respondent sample, recommended about the expansion of a TVET sector through open distance learning. Finding shows the importance of perception of study materials and infrastructure facilities to the students. However, restructuring should be done very carefully. In meanwhile, subject like automobile technology, like technological, more technical stuffs are there. So delivered through the open distance learning, we have to think about the quality, maintaining the quality, poor quality of network connection facilities, and the students centered, then the participation of, and it is very important thing, the participation of female students will be increased through this implementation or transform into the open distance learning method. This is very suitable practice actually to the current situation in country. As we know, in this pandemic situation also, we are trying to move this open distance learning or e-learning mechanisms to expand our training deliveries. So those are the recommendations. That's all my presentation, and thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. It's an interesting presentation on trainers' perceptions of in this TVET sector as we are moving on to open and distance learning. Any questions? Yeah, now it's time for Q&A. You can ask a question. So as there aren't many questions, no questions, I will ask a question, right? So what were the areas you think that had negative perceptions of the learners? The main areas?
Yes, mainly they think about students are not interested with the open distance learning, and they are barrier with their hands-on experience with the technology. That is the main thing occurred with this survey.
Right. So any recommendations to address this problem?
Actually, we can transfer it gradually, and not fully open distance learning include. First, include one by one. I think that the transfer online plus other face-to-face, and move it actually gradually. Can be good.
Right. Okay, thank you very much. We will now move on to the next presentation. That's our final presentation in this session. That is ID number 87. That's by Prasad Setunga, Upali Mampitiya, and Anushka Bandara. The topic is role of regional education services towards effective learner support services. Let's watch the presentation now.
You all, I'm Anushka Bandara. There are two other members in our research team, Professor Prasad Setunga and Dr. Palimampitiya. Our research topic, role of the regional education services towards the effective learner support services of ODL in Sri Lanka, stakeholder perspectives. Outline of the research presentation is as follow, and as we all know, open distance learning is one of the most effective educational methods that can be used to expand educational opportunities for the dynamic student communities. In open and distance learning, the teacher and the student are separated in time and space for most of the time, and it creates various problems and challenges for its stakeholders. Due to such many complicated concerns that can arise from the ODL system, developing a healthy learner support system is crucial. In a system like Open University, the regional network is the most crucial learner support mechanism as it helps to improve all other student support services at regional level. As the premier in open and distance education in Sri Lanka, the Open University of Sri Lanka functions with 9 regional centers and 19 study centers with the aim of expanding student support services to the students spread across the country. Considering the vital importance of the expanding student support services in regional centers, this research addresses the role of the regional education services towards the effective learner support services of ODL in Sri Lanka. Research literature, much study focused on the importance of the learner support services in ODL system, and some research work carried out on importance of the regional network when implementing learner support services. Several research could be found in Sri Lanka context too on this theme. We went through all these research studies and those were certainly important for our study. As you can see in the slide, the main objective of the study is to identify the role of the regional education services towards the effective learner support services in Open University. The research objectives are shown as in this slide, and the research questions that we want to try to answer throughout the research are: what are the institutional policies and the mechanisms relevant to the learner support services in regional centers? And second, what are the expectations and the challenges in terms of the learner support services by the regional services? Research design can be summarized as this chart. And when talking about the methodology of the study, a mixed method was used as data had to be collected from different stakeholders in the OUSL setup. Data were collected from academic and administrative members of the university using interviews and focus group discussion method. A questionnaire was used to collect data from the students in the regional centers, and 100 students from 9 regional centers responded to the questionnaire. Apart from this, focus group discussion were held with a student group in Kandy Regional Center. In addition, data were collected from documents such as annual reports, a strategic management plan, and program review manuals. Quantitative data were analyzed from SPSS, and thematic analysis was used to analyze qualitative data. Finding and data analysis. All regional centers and study centers at the Open University of Sri Lanka are administered by regional education services. The implementation of student support services in regional centers can be summarized as figure 1. The service rendered by the regional centers is undoubtedly helpful to the learners who are in the peripherals to continue their academic works. Promoting degree programs. Here, Result shows that the majority of that, 57% of respondents were informed about OUSL by their friends. This information is crucial for developing promotional propagandas as it plays an important role in the regional education network. Satisfaction of the service rendered by the regional staff. According to the figure number 3, more than 65% of the students are strongly satisfied with the service provided by the university staff, including academic, administrative, and non-academic staff of the regional center. In some centers, most of the staff have good relationship as student number of the center is relatively low. These results also indicate that the interaction between student and the staff in certain centers is closer than the central campus. Availability and the utilization of the resources. Apart from the major regional centers, CRC, KRC, MRC, and JRC, most of the centers face lack of basic human and physical resources. Since most of the students are school leavers, a common trend observed in these centers that the students spend full time on academic work and most of them visit centers daily. They expect to spend conventional university life in regional centers and request to expand resources in the centers. In this case, there are two views can be identified from the university authorities regarding the expansion of the resources in the regional centers. One group suggests that given the requirement of the most of the student group, facilities should be provided to the students as it also one of the student support component. The second group argued that according to the ODL principles, the university should not entertain students who request conventional university requirements and provide more facilities to improve open and distance learning teaching facilities in regional. The importance of the day schools. The figure number 5 denotes 75% of students agreed that the day schools are important and support their academic work. A significant correlation can be seen between the student employability and the participating day schools. Most of the unemployed students attend day schools as they are fully engaged with the studies. Apart from that, officials such as teachers who grant duty leaves to continue their studies also show better participation. Since most of the students are alienated from the system, the day schools create good platform to together and generate peer group discussions and peer groups for the students and get academic aids from the staff. Reasons for visit regional centers. Figure number 7 shows the complete picture of the course of visiting regional centers. Most of the students visit centers to examinations, day schools, assignment submissions. Apart from that, significant number of students visited centers to the studies and meet their colleagues. In Sri Lanka, the Open University plays a key role as the leading higher education institution in open and distance learning. According to the data analysis, the role of the regional education services towards the learner support services is valued by stakeholders including alumni, academics, non-academic, and students. In addition, public and private institutions in region also valued the services provided by the regional and study centers. To conclude our presentation through recommendations of the study, following facts were identified. The study suggests the important role played by the friends and peer groups in ODL system. Therefore, it is absolutely crucial to provide opportunities for gathering for all staff and students as it will help to stakeholders create good rapport with each other. The research also pointed out the importance of the developing infrastructure with a special focus on the technical support for the student by developing facilities. The study also addressed the importance of the day schools as there are psychological aspects apart from the academic validity. Lastly, the study recognized executive role of placed by the regional education services provided for the students. Therefore, the development of the physical resource and human resource regional centers and the study centers are the main student support services that can provided by the OUSL along with all other services currently implemented through regional education services. These are the references that we used for our research. Thank you.
Right. Okay, now it's time for questions. I think you all are there, the presenters. Thank you very much for that presentation. It's very interesting and it's useful for the Open University of Sri Lanka. And there is a question from Jasmine Emmanuel. Do the regional centers also offer personal counseling services to students, especially during this pandemic?
Thank you for asking questions. It's really important questions. Actually, with this pandemic situation, we have made a certain arrangement to provide counseling for the students, especially students who are newly enrolled to the particular programs. We are conducting Zoom sessions for answer their questions, especially how to register and how to get the subjects and what are the areas you can select likewise. And with the support of the regional center academics and as well as the central campus academics, we are providing, the regional centers providing lots of academic counseling services, especially for the selecting academic courses as well as the registration process and other procedures and the other services provided by the regional centers for the students. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Are there any other questions?
Can I ask the question? I have the question.
Yes, sure.
Thank you very much, Anushka. It was a really good presentation. My question is that if we see the trend of the online education or the normal education, especially after the COVID, everything is going online. So like physical existence of the universities, they are moving towards the online existence. So what do you think in future, what will be the role of the regional centers? Like even in our university, we have more than 50 regional campuses all over the country, and we have like more than 600,000 students in a semester. So what I think, like things are moving online. Like previously we were doing workshops physically through the regional centers in our country, and after pandemic we started online. So a lot of role and responsibilities were like shifted from regional centers to the head office. So what do you think, like in coming years in the future, what will be the role of, don't you think that regional centers will be converted back to the main campus due to the online?
Really important question. I think we are, as I'm the regional assistant director in one of the regional centers in Open University, I personally experienced that the regional support is crucial for the students who are in the peripherals, especially, and as you asked, with the cultural diversity, the requirement of the students may be varied. For instance, the students who are in Colombo or the central areas, town areas, they have IT infrastructure and knowledge, but when we talk about the regional peripheral students, we must have guide them, and the physical touch, the human touch is really important. So they can't, practically they can't make contact, communicate continuously with central campus. So the role of the regional education services is very important in especially in this pandemic area, to touch with the students who are with certain difficulties, especially in this pandemic period.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any other questions? No. Right. Okay, then. Thank you very much, Mr. Anushka Bandara, and all the other presenters and the participants. We have now come to the end of this session. Thank you very much for a very informative and productive conference session. And I wish you all the best. I hope you enjoyed the session. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, next session is AAU selected papers for award session. Award categories Young Innovator Award. Topic is H5P interactive video content in Moodle to improve learners' engagement in online learning by Kamran Mir.
Hello everyone, Assalamu alaikum. My name is Kamran Mir from Allama Iqbal Open University, Pakistan. First of all, I would like to thank you for giving me the opportunity to present my work related to H5P interactive video. I would like to start my presentation with a very popular quotation of John Dewey, which says that education is not an affair of telling and being told, but an active and constructive process, which means it is not enough just to provide the content or just to upload the content in an online scenario. So the content has to be active. There has to be an interaction between the teacher and the student, or the content and the student. So the topic of my presentation is the development of H5P interactive video content in Moodle so that to improve the learners' engagement in online learning. So what does the UN Sustainable SDG 4 says? The goal number 4 of UN is to ensure the inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. Why is it so? Because there are 617 million children which lack the minimum proficiency of reading and mathematics. There are around 750 million adults still remain illiterate. So these facts tell us that there is a need to change the mode of education so that we can provide the quality education to the masses. This picture is depicting the formal education system on the left side, which is just like a small car, which is only accommodating few who can afford that school, the online learning, which can provide quality education to the masses. And To provide the online learning, so there are different platforms which different people are using in different parts of the world. One of the very popular learning management system is Moodle. You might have heard about the Moodle. So why I've selected Moodle only? Because Moodle is one of the very popular and the most used open source learning management system. Moodle stands for Modular Object-Oriented Dynamic Learning Environment. Obviously, it is open source and it is free. It is a single, robust, and secure and integrated system which is being financially supported by more than 80 partners, and it is highly flexible and customizable. According to the recent stats, around 184,000 institutions are using Moodle, which are registered with Moodle in 246 countries, and there are around 213 million users. From these stats, it is very clear that this learning management system is very important for online education. So there is a need to investigate more about its quality, and we need to check its quality. So the study objectives are to analyze and compare the success factors of Moodle using Dillon and Maclean information system success model. It is one of the very popular success model through which we are going to see the success factor of Moodle. And after, based on these results, we are going to develop a H5P interactive video in Moodle. H5P is basically HTML5 module of the Moodle, in which there are hundreds of activities which we can develop. One of them is the interactive video. So the model which I have selected to check the success factor of Moodle is Dillon and Maclean information system success model. It deals with these 6 factors. 3 of the primary factors are information quality, system quality, and service quality. Now let us see what is H5P. H5P is an open source HTML5 based module created by a community of educators to make the online learning interactive. And it supports active learning, which is a proven and very popular method of teaching used in online learning. In this study, we will only focus on the interactive video. This activity or this specific part of H5P allows us to create very interactive videos so that the students can interact with the videos. You can ask questions, you can ask additional information or provide additional information within the video. This is the example of the interactive video which was developed. This video was about an introduction of GIS, which means Geographical Information System. So the methodology used in this research or in this study was a mixed method. In the phase 1, an online questionnaire was adapted from Dillon and Maclean information success model, which was placed on the university website for 2 weeks. And the data was collected based on the 7 parameters, which I've already discussed. 6 parameters, and 1 was about general and demographic information. The other 6 were the information quality, system quality, service quality, intention to use, user satisfaction, and net benefits. In the second phase, the design and the development of H5P interactive video was developed and applied on the online students. So let us see the results and discussion of this study. There were around 733 respondents which responded the questionnaire, which was based on Dillon and Maclean success model. And out of those 733 respondents, 495 were female and 238 were male. And if we see the role, there were around 640 students and 93 were teachers. This chart is showing the overall comparison of different success measures. So what what it shows, the least agreement was shown in the intention to use. And the highest success measure was found in system quality. So from this figure, it is very clear that the system quality is, the success of system quality is very good, but there are some issues in intention to use. If we see the information quality measure, around 66% of users agreed that Moodle provides sufficient information. Same goes for the system quality. Around 64% of users, they agreed with the statement like the Moodle is very user-friendly. Again, if we see the service quality, it is around 63%. So this is the highlighting the quality measure, which is about intention to use, which is the least. Only 57% of users agreed that they frequently use the Moodle. So coming to the conclusion and the recommendation of my study, this mixed method research shows that the users are somehow satisfied with Moodle as a learning management system, whereas their less agreement is shown in intention to use, which reflects their lack of interest in the learning content, which can be improved by using the interactive video H5P content. This study also shows that H5P is very easy to develop and use, and one can easily convert existing static videos and recorded videos content into an interactive video content, which can help in boosting the interest of learners by engaging them in different on-spot questions while the video is running. Let us see a short video how to create H5P content. Thank you. Salamat. Shukriya.
If you have any question, you can ask now.
Yes, please, if anybody has any question regarding my presentation or any feedback, so I can improve, or anything related to H5P or interactive video.
Excuse me, can I ask one question? Actually, in Sri Lanka, we are practicing model in the state university system. At the earlier period, we had some problems, like, so then we used Zoom for meetings, and then uploading documents for the model, and then so nowadays I think we were able to get used for this system. Still sometimes we have some problems, the rural area students. So what do you think about the effectiveness compared to the other modes, like other services, like, yeah.
Thank you very much. First of all, I think we should see the comparison, because you're talking about maybe like we are using Zoom or any other, they are proprietary, they're paid. So when you are like interacting with a limited number of students, so it works, it is cost effective as well. But as we are talking about educating the masses, so definitely the stats also shows for educating the masses, we need some like cost-effective solutions. So one of the cost-effective or free solution for the learning management system is Moodle, and it is like, if you see the stats after pandemic, it has drastically increased. So more than 100,000 like institutions are using all over the world. So again, it is free, and it has no comparison with like Zoom. These are the video conferencing solutions. So in Moodle, Moodle is a learning management system, is an overall like learning management system, just like we have Canvas or any other paid solutions. So the focus of my presentation was like, when we are going to teach the masses, so the live interaction is not possible, just like we are having a live interaction because we are the limited audience. But when we talk about large audience, for example, in our case, we have more than 600,000 students in a semester. So in each course, when there are more than 30,000 students, so it is very hectic, and it is very like difficult to interact live for all the teachers. So what is the optimum solution for educating the masses is recording a video. But the problem in the recorded video is it has less interactivity. So to engage or to include the interactivity in the recorded video, so this is the solution, very good solution, which is provided by H5P. And H5P is like, it's not a Moodle only thing. It can be integrated with other learning management system as well, if you're using any paid LMS as well. So I think H5P module is also integratable with other learning management system. So what is the benefit of H5P? That it can make the recorded video an interactive one.
Yeah, how about the training of academics to utilize the mode? Like, we have a lot of techniques to use this to enhance the interactions, like as in-person sessions. But I think still in our context, we are not very well trained. And so, just using very simple things like, so in your case, do you have any the planned training for academics, how to use the techniques?
Yes, that is very important. The training of even if my personal if I talk about the personal observation after pandemic, like many conventional schools also shifted to online. So what was the major problem? In my observation, the students were more trained than the teachers, because the teachers are like were not very used to with the technology. So there is when we are talking about online, so definitely there is a need to train the teachers on the technology things, on the latest technology things. And in our perspective, in our management, in university management, there is a roadmap as well to train the teachers. And definitely it is a key requirement in future, from future perspective, when we are going to online, we need to train the teachers according to the technology.
Thank you.
Mr. Kamran, thank you very much. I have small questions just to raise to you. Now, do you have any idea about the cost of this application? Now, for example, I am from the Open University of Sri Lanka. So if we are going to apply this one for our programs, our students, nearly now our student population is somewhere around 50,000. So we have an idea also to exceed that students level in coming future. So what about the cost? Do you have any idea about the costing?
As I already told, it is Moodle, and Moodle is open source, so there is no cost involved. You can only the cost is of your server requirements. if you will purchase the server, or if you already have the server hosting. So there is no software cost. It is free of cost. You can download the latest version of the Moodle, and it already has the H5P module in it, and you can integrate the even YouTube videos, just like if we have existing YouTube video of any lecture. So we can embed that YouTube video in the Moodle H5P module, and we can add the interactivity within that YouTube video. Like after 1 minute, if you want to ask some question from student, or if we want to get some feedback from students, so within the video we can create the interactivity, and it is free. Like it is only you need to learn, and only you need a server to host that Moodle.
Right. Thank you very much. Thank you.
One thing I would like to add, if I am allowed to add. I'm allowed to add, please?
Yes, yes, please.
Okay. In 2019, I visited University of Philippines as well. Right now, I'm wearing the T-shirt of UPOU as well. So most of the open universities are already using Moodle. Even in that visit, our study was a comparison between Lama Iqbal Open University, University of Philippines, and University of Terbuka, Indonesia. So what I observed with that study, so most of the Asian open universities as well, we are already using the Moodle. But what is the need? There's a lack of collaboration, of real collaboration, technical collaboration especially. So what is required by the open universities, especially the AAOU forum? We really need to collaborate technically as well, to come up to be on the same page of the technology. What was the common observation of that research was also that we were not using the latest version of Moodle, and we were not using many of the functionalities of the Moodle. So Moodle is very rich in functionality, but we were not using those features. So there is a need of collaboration, so that all the universities, especially the open universities, should technically collaborate with each other, so that they are on the same page, and they are because we are the leaders in online learning. So definitely, if the formal education system and other education system are transforming towards the online education, so I think we all open universities are the role models for them, all of them. Thank you.
Thank you, Kamran. This is the end of parallel online session 3 of AAOU 2021. Thank you all for joining.
Thank you very much.